conclusion, there's a few things I think are worth keeping in mind. In this lecture, I have just highlighted a few of the factors. I have not been able to go into the real detail. I hope you will do that on your own. There are certainly things to explore further here, really worth exploring from the viewpoint of Koreans' engagement with foreigners and certainly understanding Korean history and Korea today. So it's important to consider the influence that Chinese migrants have had on Korean culture. I think it's both important and it's quite delightful, especially if you consider the influence on music here and there, traditional music, but also, of course, food. And so we'll see where this leads us now when the number of Chinese migrants seems to be on the increase again. Another thing that I've discussed is how English language and how English speakers have affected today's contemporary Korean culture. And I mean that mostly in terms of the Koreans' engagement and understanding of the world around. Of course, not Korea itself, but perhaps also Korea to a degree, as foreigners may have highlighted certain aspects of Korean culture they weren't really aware were very special or unique or perhaps difficult or challenging to a foreigner. The engagement with foreigners through English language education has been of quite a significant impact. Finally, I think it's hopefully been possible for you now to summarize the background and the various issues regarding Korean adoptees who've returned to Korea. And one aspect I haven't discussed is that there are quite a number of migrants from of course, the Russian part of the region. And their kind of experiences in Korea, they're not as good as those returning from the United States, for example. But I don't have very good figures on them. But they should also not be forgotten, and there's a fairly large number of them living in Korea today as well. According to a survey, Koreans showed the least social distance towards North Americans, but most towards the Chinese. Considering Korea is geographically closer to China, why do you think this now has happened? And I guess based on the lectures, I think you could consider English language education as one. You could consider the political situation another one. But there may be others that I haven't specifically mentioned, but may have been hidden in the kind of historical flow, if you like. So some of the aspects that we've looked at is Chinese migrants from back in the 1880s up to the present. We've looked at English and the impact of foreign kind of teachers here in Korea, their experience with learning, and also the experience Koreans have with foreigners of all kinds through TV shows, and now increasingly through hagwons as well, now that hagwons have in a sense grown up a little bit, and parents have also stopped demanding to see the ideal image that they had in mind, and demanding much more someone who can actually teach really well, which is what we need.
According to a survey, Koreans showed least social distance toward North Americans and Europeans, but most toward Chinese. Considering Korea is geographically close to China and other East Asian countries, why do you think this trend happened?